Hi, how are you doing? Welcome to this afternoon's webinar. We will be starting very shortly, just waiting for a few more people to come in. I will encourage, if you're in now, to find a nice quiet place away from all sorts of distractions, anything that could get in the way of you getting the most out of the next hour. I'll also encourage you to get a pen, get a notepad, expect to take some very good notes, expect to really get a lot of value out of today that would help you with your coaching, your speaking, your training career. I'm DJ Sabanjo. I will be the main trainer, but Daya's just joining us. And hi, Daya, are you there? Okay, brilliant. We can hear you, even though you do seem quite faint, but we can hear you. Um, I'll just hand it. I'll just hand it over to you so you can just do the intros. Okay, I guess I'll just keep on because I know Dio's in, but I'm really excited what we're doing here at the Nigerian Trainers and Speakers Consortium, which is the brainchild of Dio Lumu, and it's really focused on helping those of us who are Nigerian by origin across the world. I mean, we're starting off in the UK. The intention is to take this global, is to help to harness the power of what we have to be able to support speakers and trainers from the Nigerian community, help to develop us, and also help to give us a platform to enable us to reach out and to do more and have greater impact. So it would benefit us as speakers and trainers, and also enable us to be able to serve more people and have a greater impact. This is a new initiative. The vision is huge. The vision is massive. And for those of us who have chosen to be a part of this, if you are a speaker or a trainer and you have a desire to be able to improve yourself, but not just to improve yourself, but to surround yourself with like-minded people who would support you, like-minded people who and share in each other's networks, bring in the power of synergy, and be able to go as far as you possibly can go in your career. Then I'd like to say to you that you definitely are a part of the right organization. So I'm really appreciative. First of all, Daya, thank you for putting this together, for choosing to lead on this and the vision that you have. And I'm so excited with where we are, but more importantly, where we're going to be. And I do appreciate the privilege to run this training session with us, just to share with us some of the things that have worked for me that you can apply in your career as a coach, speaker, trainer, or author, to hopefully help you take things to the next level and help you to achieve a high level of success. Um, I'm someone my name is DJ Sabanjo. I do apologize. Apologize. I don't think I even introduced myself there. My name is DJ Sabanjo, and I am a member of this particular consortium. And today, I'm just going to be sharing with you something that is working for me, and that's also been working for some of my clients. That if you begin to apply in your business, can begin to work for you as well. Um, this webinar, I'm just going to share with us how you can profit from webinars, how you can use webinars to help other people reach their goals, which is what drives us, but at the same time to be able to earn some income doing it as well. Now, those of us who are coaches, speakers, authors, and trainers, we are a unique group of people. And we are a people who are committed to helping other people reach their goals, improve their situations, and move from where they are to where they want to be. And I'm particularly passionate about working with coaches and trainers and speakers because we're not really motivated by money. I know that. I mean, I've spoken to hundreds of speakers and trainers over the years, and we are really motivated by the difference we can make in people's lives. And that's why I'm really passionate about empowering more of us so we can do more of that, without and have more time to make a bigger difference in people's lives. Now, and within the next few minutes, I'm just going to hopefully leave you with something that you can take and execute to enable you to start to make money as a coach, speaker, author, or trainer. I'm not sure if you've heard this before, but for every hundred trainers, speakers, authors, people who do this, as a business, not people who are employed as a trainer or a coach, but people who want to build a business as a speaker, trainer, or coach, then 99% of them do not make up to £500 a month. That is a reality. Only about 1% actually do. Does that mean that the 1% are better coaches, better teachers, better trainers, and better speakers than the others? No, that's not the case. It usually is because they know how to build a business around their skills as a coach or a trainer or a speaker, while the others may be better coaches, better speakers, and better trainers, but they haven't learned the skill of building a business around this particular expertise. And so they're not really able to generate the sort of incomes that they really deserve. And hopefully, I'll just share with us one way, just one way that you can begin to harness the power and your gifts and your skills as a speaker, trainer, and coach, and to be able to use it to add value to more people, extend your reach more people than you're reaching right now, but at the same time, be able to profit from it. Um, Now, the thing is, we're speakers, coaches, trainers. I think from now on, I will just use the word trainer. I'll use trainer. So if I say trainer, it would apply to you whether you're focused on coaching, whether you're focused on speaking or writing. So we'll just use trainer for the rest of this training, so that it doesn't get too confusing. Now, trainers were driven by passion to help other people move from where they are to where they want to be. And the reality is, for most trainers, their more motivation, like I said, is not money. The truth is, we would do this even if we were not getting paid. And I know for those of us who are here, you would agree with me that even if we were not getting paid, we would do this because what truly motivates us is the difference that we can make in other people's lives. Hi, Lydia. Welcome. It's good to have you on. And I know that about Lydia. I know Lydia, and I know that Lydia, she does what she does not for the money. She does it because she genuinely cares about the group of people that she's reaching. Now, and the thing is, I'm sure if you're listening that you fit this profile, people come to you for advice, then they go out and they get results and they're very excited because you have helped them move from where they are to where they want to be. And then you realize that you have so many other people who come back and say things like, "Oh, I'm so grateful. This thing that you shared with me. This is what I've used it to and this is how it's helped me. I listened to you on the stage and you really inspired me." And I was feeling very low. I felt I didn't have hope, but since I heard you that day, it just helped me to see the possibilities. And for most of us, that is the joy we get from what we do. It's someone who may have been struggling in their job for a long time, somebody who may have been struggling to get a job, and then they attend one of your training events, and then their careers begin to move up, or someone who may have been struggling with weight issues or with health issues, and then they attend one of your health classes, and then they go along, make a few changes, and they come back and they talk about how stronger they feel now that they've applied what you shared with them. For many of us, this is the true joy that we get from what we do. This is really what drives us. So we love this, and we can do this even if we were not getting paid. The challenge though is, while we love the difference that we make in other people's lives as trainers, the problem is we don't know how to build a money making business around our passion of helping people. That is the big challenge that I've seen and I've experienced with most people in our community. Having worked with so many trainers over the last few years, I've identified one thing most trainers have in common: we genuinely care about other people, and we have the ability to help them. We care and we have skills to help them improve their lives. But as much as you do want to do this full time, most of us are going to a job that we really don't enjoy because we haven't learned to make money from our training. So there's many trainers and coaches and speakers, they have a main job, and then and so they go to their job Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. They don't really have enough time to do the thing that they really want to do, which is coaching, the training, and the mentoring, the speaking, and the writing. They would rather do that 247, but they can't do that because they have bills to pay, they have a mortgage to pay, and they have these particular realities. So our heart is in helping other people. However, our reality is Monday morning we wake up going to do a job we don't enjoy doing, and we really can't find enough time to do what we really enjoy. Um, bec- um, um, even though we have a good track record of helping other people, we're good at it, but we can't make money from it, so we have to go to do a job that we don't enjoy. Now, if you can identify with this in the room, if you're thinking, you know what, DJ, you're talking about me, just go to the chat box and just type yes, just so I can know. If you're thinking, you know what, DJ, you're describing me, just type yes in the chat box. Okay. All right. So I know that was me. I know that was me, and I'll just tell you a little bit about me. Um, I first started speaking and training a while back. I started at the time. I just had this. I was learning a few things, and I was really inspired by what I was learning, and I wanted to share it with other people. So I at the time I was still quite young. I was in my twenties, my mid 20s at the time, and I was going to schools and churches and speaking to young people, inspiring them, and at the time, I called myself a motivational speaker, but I don't use that term for myself anymore. And I was going to schools, and it was, I wrote a small book at the time. I was just passionate about. I just felt, these things that I've learned, some mistakes that I'd made when I was young. I wouldn't want these young people to make the same mistakes, and so I was going and I was sharing. And then I wrote a book. Now, when I wrote that book, I just felt, since I'm going and I'm sharing all this stuff, people kept saying to me, you know what? It's really good, these lovely things you're sharing, but it would be better if there was something you could leave behind that people could, refer to. So that's why I wrote this small book called Nine Keys to a Lifetime of Achievements, which is very funny. How could a 20-something-year-old write a book called Keys to a Lifetime of Achievements? What does he know? But at the time, I just discovered a few things and I felt I should share them with other people. And then I quickly realized something, that writing a book is one thing, selling a book is another thing. I had 1,000 copies of the book, and I was very excited when the books arrived from the publisher in the beginning. Later on, I realized that people are not just going to buy a book because you write it. And I kept looking at the book, I was miserable. Because it was so hard for me to move the book. And that's why I kind of chuckle when people are so focused on writing a book without having a plan to actually, market it. So that was and I really, it was very frustrating. I definitely didn't make money because I wasn't driven by money at the time. I was driven by passion to help other people. And then I moved on. I went and got a job because I wasn't making money from my speaking. I got a job with London Underground. I started in operations, but I had desire. Like many of us who do what we do, I had a strong desire to move, and I quickly moved into working as a management and leadership development specialist. I started off on the gate line as a station assistant. Within a very short space of time, because of investment in personal development and God's help, I was able to move to a place where I was a management and leadership development specialist. So I was coaching, training, and consulting with managers in that organization. And at the same time, though, I was building a business by the side, and it was that business that really helped me. I then began to look at how to use the internet to build my business. So I began to explore using the internet to build my business in 2002. I wasted money. I tried so many things that didn't work. I failed continually. I remember sometimes sitting in front of my computer and crying and I really do mean crying, because I was so committed to this thing, but it wasn't working. And however, the good thing was I refused to give up. I just knew that if other people were succeeding, I can too. And I know some of us, we can identify with that. So I just kept on trying and trying. And eventually, I began to figure out really how the internet worked. Things began to make sense to me. And I really began to pour myself into things. Then a few years, and then I understood the core things that you needed to have to build a business as a coach, speaker, or trainer. Then about 3 years ago, I made a bold decision to walk away from my job to build my business full time. I loved my job because my job enabled me to help other people. But I felt now was the time to spread my tentacles. Then I left. And when I left, I then had a challenge to make sure I keep on generating income. And that was when I discovered the power of webinars. And I do believe for most people who are in our space, if you want to quickly get to a place where you can generate incomes to leave a full-time job, generate incomes that are sustainable, I believe webinars are probably it's number one. There are other good ways, but for me, webinars is without a shadow of a doubt number one. Now, for the benefit of those of us who may not understand what a webinar is, a webinar is something like what we're doing right now. It simply is a seminar online. So people you organize an event that happens online at a particular date and time, and people register to attend. And at the designated time, they come in to attend, and they attend live. Now, during a webinar, you can transmit, and so you can have. I've had webinars where we've had hundreds of people from 23 different countries of the world who've come in to attend my webinars. Okay, so you can have people attend the webinars from the comfort of their homes from anywhere in the world. And a webinar could be like this, it's just audio, so you're hearing me speak, or the webinar could be video where you could actually see me, or it could be screen share where I might be sharing PowerPoints, or I might be sharing particular things on my computer that you could see, or it could be a combination of any. And the beautiful thing is it's cost effective. You don't have to hire out hotel rooms and things like that. It's never going to have the same effect as people being in a room together. That's the truth. It will never have that same effect, but it's a very close second. The good thing about it, though, is while it will never have the same effect as people being in a live room together, it's a lot easier to get a lot of people. I've had I did I did a webinar where we had about 200 and something people from 23 countries. There's absolutely no way I could have got 200 and something people in a room in London. Okay, so that just is the power of webinars. It's never going to get it's never going to be like face to face. However, it also has big advantages over face to face because your reach is bigger. The cost for people to attend is lower. The cost for you to running it is also low, but the impact as far as value that you add to people is very much the same. So let's now look at how we actually make money from webinars, and why is it that coaches and speakers don't make money like they should, and how they can make money from webinars. And primarily, there's three core mistakes that we make as coaches, speakers, authors, and trainers. As trainers, we make three core mistakes. Number one mistake is we copy other people's success, and that is a big mistake that a lot of us make. Is we are trying we look at what somebody is doing that is working, and we just go ahead and copy it. Now we say that's modeling, but that's not really modeling. For example, it's like me starting a soft drink business and trying to copy Coca-Cola and trying to advertise like Coca-Cola is advertising. The problem here is Coca-Cola did not start marketing the way they are marketing. And so if I start copying their success, it will not be sustainable for me because I am in a different position than they are. So what a lot of us do is we just go and see what people are doing. So for example, someone like Dio's amazing and he's having some great success. And it's easy to just say, let me just see what Dio's doing. Let me go and see what he's doing on Facebook, and let me go and copy what he's doing. But what we don't understand is Dio didn't start that way. We're copying his success, but that was not how he started. And there's so many coaches, speakers, authors, and trainers. And I did that myself when I started out. Is I was looking at what other people were doing and copying it, but it wasn't working for me because I didn't have the foundation that they had. I didn't have the bigger picture. I was just copying one thing I saw, but that was not the whole component. One of the biggest mistakes we make is copying other people's success. So what do I mean by that? Someone goes and they go and look at someone else's website and they want to go and copy their website. So you want to go and copy Tony Robbins' website. Let me go and see what Tony Robbins' website looks like, and I'll copy it. The problem is this, right? Tony Robbins has a reach. Right now, he has a reach to millions of people. You probably have a reach to hundreds of people. So why would you can't duplicate or replicate his success. You can learn from him, but you can't copy him because you're not where he is. You would only copy a model if you are positioned to be able to take advantage of that same model. Or what you'll find out is you'll end up wasting money, wasting time on things that work, but they won't work for you. The fact that something is working does not mean it works for you, and so copying another person's success is dangerous because that is if they were in your shoes, they wouldn't do what they're doing. They're doing it because they're in a different place from you. And that's one mistake that many of us make is we don't want to invest in learning how to do it where we are, and so we just go and look at what other people are doing, and they've got a Facebook page. I'm going to go and create a Facebook page. Oh, they're doing this, and I'm going to go and copy that. But you don't see the big picture. They have a strategy while you're doing activities, and that's the problem. Is you're copying someone else's success. And the second big mistake that most of us make as coaches, as trainers, is we try to be everything to everyone. Now, this is a very big mistake that I see a lot of us make. And again, I've made that mistake before. It's a mistake that can set you back years. Now, what do I mean by this? Um, I'm Yoruba, and there's a proverb where it says that there's many different ways to go to the market. And you know what? It's true. There are many different ways to go to the market. But if you want to go to the market, you have to choose which way you're going to go through. You can't go through more than one way at a time. Now, how does that relate to us? The fact that you can help many people, the fact that you can help people in weight loss because you have experience in weight loss, the fact that you can help people in dealing with difficult children is good. The fact that you can help people in marriage and marriage relationships is good. The fact that you can help people in breaking through in their career is good. The fact that you can help people in dealing with bereavement is good. The fact that you are good at all these things is wonderful. The problem many of us make is we then want to build a business where we try to say, hey, I can help you in every area. I can help you in whatever area it is. I can help you. I've helped this person. I've helped that person. Now, the thing is this: you can do that. You may be able to help different people, but that's not how you build a business. Because if you want to build a business, you need to be known for one thing. Your business needs to be known for one thing. You need to have established yourself in one place first, and then you can diversify. If you try to diversify too early, you end up being too thin. That is a mistake so many of us make. That is a big mistake so many of us make is we try to be everything for everybody. You now by doing that, there is a difference between helping others and building a business helping others. I'll say that again, and please note this. There is a big difference between helping others and building a business helping others. Helping others, I might have a friend who's going through difficulties in their marriage. They come and see me. We sit down, we have a conversation. I give them some advice. I ask them some questions. I identify some things they're not doing wrong. I could challenge that. We explore a different approach. They go back home. They try those things in their marriage, and it works for them. Okay. Now, but that's fine. I help them, but that's not my business. Okay. That is not my business. Right now, what is my business? Well, I'll tell you what my business is. I help coaches, speakers, authors, and trainers who have a passion for helping other people, but are not able to earn a full-time income doing this to develop effective marketing strategies that will enable them to accelerate their business growth and to be able to earn an income from their coaching and training practice so they'll be able to walk away from a full-time job. Now, that is who I choose to serve. That is my market. Are these the only people I can help? No. But that is who I choose to serve. I focus on building a business with this group. So I can be focused, I can be known for this. Okay. And you want to be known for something in your business as a coach, speaker, author, and trainer. This is foundational stuff. I mean, some of us probably already know this. But if you can't say who, what, and how, and what I mean by that is having your business statement. And your business statement is the who, what, and how. Who do you help? Two, what do you help them achieve? Three, how do you help them? I'll go through that again. Who do you help? What do you help them achieve? How do you help them? I just told you about me. I help coaches, speakers, authors, and trainers who at the moment are doing it part time. To do what? To be able to build a business around their passion so that they could generate the sort of income that will enable them to go full time. How? By helping them develop and implement marketing strategies that work. That is my positioning. So when people meet me and say, what do you do? I don't say I'm a coach. I don't say I'm a life coach. I don't say I'm a business coach. I say I help who achieve what, and I tell them how I do that, right? And straight away they can say to me, oh, I know someone who is perfect for you. Or, you know what? I think you might be able to help me. And it's very crucial if you want to build a business and make money as a speaker, coach, and as a trainer, right? That you position yourself strategically. Okay. Now that's really crucial. So developing your business statement is crucial. If you don't have a business, I'm sure many of us do, but if you don't have a business statement, which is the who do you help, what do you help them achieve, how do you help them achieve it, you've got to go and use that and define it. Now, does that mean that you won't help other people in other areas? Yes, you would, but you're building a business, okay? And that does not mean that's the only thing you do. It just means that's the business that you're building. And later on, you can expand it. Once you've established that business, your revenue is solid in that area, you can then go and start another business because this one is now solid and running. What you don't want to do is try to be a jack of all trades and a master of none. Be very, very wary of that, especially for those of us who are good at so many different things and we have results in so many different areas. There's a temptation to want to do three, four at the same time, and that will set you back so many years. You know why? Because it happened to me. So I'm literally sharing with you the things that have worked for me and also the things that have not worked for me so that you can apply them and hopefully it can help make a big difference for you. All right. Now let's then look at for us to build a business. I mean, you're probably wondering what's this got to do with webinars, and you will understand in a brief moment because everything that I'm sharing right now has to do with webinars. Everything I'm sharing right now has to do with building a business using webinars. Okay. Now, you want to build a business, you need to map out a strategy. As a coach, speaker, author, and trainer, I've been working with coaches and speakers and trainers now, for about 3 years. And what I'm going to share is these three core things are the things that need to be in place for you to be able to profit from training. Obviously, you need to have your business statement. So each person in the room, I'm going to challenge you that before the end of today, if you don't have your business statement, to craft something, and then once you've crafted it, if you want to send it to post it in the group, post it in the Ntsc group, Nigerian Trainers and Speakers Consortium group. Just go to the group and share with the rest of the community. Share with us your business statement. So, which is who do you help, what do you help them achieve, and how do you help them? I want to challenge everybody here to make sure that before the close of play today, you go to the group and you share with the rest of us, your business statement. If anything, right, some of us could be your clients, or we could send clients your way, and that's the beginning. That's the beginning of growing your business. It's actually defining yourself. Now, however, in growing a business, your strategy should really be focused on three core things, and I'll share these things quickly, and then I'll share with you how webinars will help you achieve this. So, number one, you've got to be consistently building your community. Now, what do we mean by that? There's 7 billion people on planet Earth. There's 7 billion people on planet Earth. The reality, though, is most of them are not interested in what you do and they will never be interested. And guess what? As far as your business is concerned, you're not interested in them. Okay? You are looking for people that match the profile of your target market and you want to bring them into your community. Okay? So you want to build a community of people who look to you as the person who would help them solve their problem. Okay, now there's lots of ways of doing this, but the primary way, and please pay attention, the primary way of doing this is by building an email list, a list of email addresses of people who are interested in the solutions you provide. I'll say that again. You want to build a database of email addresses of people who are interested in the solutions you provide. And really and that's the first thing. So why? So that every now and again you can share information with them. Okay, so you want to build a database of email addresses of people who are interested in the problems that you solve. First thing. The second thing is you now want to add value to your community. Okay, now how do you add value? You add value by sharing relevant information, by sharing knowledge, by sharing wisdom, by sharing guidance that would inspire them, that would educate them, that would help them to move move away from their pain and closer to their dreams. So things like blog posts, Facebook posts, you do videos and or you do webinars. There we go. You do webinars, okay? Right? Where you can add value, where you can teach, where you can train, where you can mentor, where you can guide, where you can inspire. Some, little things like recording short 2-minute videos and sharing it with your community. Why do you want to do this? But because by doing this, you do three things, right? Number one, you build credibility. Okay. Now, the more value you add to people, and Dio is a very good example of this. I mean, he has so much credibility with many of us. Why? Because he has been consistently adding value. He gives stuff. He gives away knowledge. He gives away inspiration. And because of that, he has credibility, right? And credibility simply means that you trust them, right? You trust them that this person is the real deal. They're not fake, right? And by adding value, you build credibility. When by adding value to your community, you will build credibility. The second thing, right, is authority. Now, by adding value, people then begin to see you as the expert, as the go-to person, and all of a sudden, your word to them is it supersedes anybody else's, right? The more value you add, the more you're able to share things that help them break through in little ways, the more authority you have with them, the more they will choose to believe you over someone else, the more they see you as the expert. Okay, which is very, very crucial and very, very important. It doesn't take too much to build authority. It just takes consistently adding value for a short period of time for people to just think, wow, you know what, this person is the real deal. And they can say that about you. They can, and by adding value, that's exactly what they'll be saying. And the third thing is likability. You know what? When many of us, again, I'll use Dyer as an example, and I'm not saying this because he is an example of what I'm talking about, is likability. You like the person who helps you. It's just the way it is. Okay? And people buy from people that they like, right? So by consistently adding value to your community, sharing things with them that enhance them, they open up to you, right? And so those three things that happen when you add value are crucial. You build credibility, you build authority, and you also build likability, right? Which brings us to the very third element of the strategy, which is monetizing your community. Now, I need to say this very, very quickly, but because those of us who work in our space, we're not very comfortable asking for money. I need you to understand that you're not running a charity, right? This is a business. And the way business works is this: it's an exchange of value. You go into the marketplace, you add value, and then you expect to withdraw. It is from where you sow that you expect to reap. Many of us have a problem asking for money. Many of us feel guilty asking for money. I know, again, because that was me. I struggled in the beginning. I mean, before I went full time, I had a job. So I wasn't, I didn't need to ask for money. And so I would just do it for free. And I was helping people because I felt, what's the big deal? I'm just sharing with people what's worked for me. Why do I need to take money from them? And while I was doing a job, that was fine. Okay? The thing though is this: if you're going to build a business, you've got to understand the marketplace. And the marketplace is you sow and then you expect to reap. And it's from the place that you sow. If you go and plant in a field, from that same field that you plant, that is where you expect to reap a harvest. It's the same thing. When you're building your community and adding value to your community, your money should come from your community because you're investing there, you expect to reap. Okay, and so the third element is then monetizing your community, which basically means getting paid, making money. And so why now? If you have been adding value, you've established credibility, authority, and likability, then the monetizing it is not so tough. It's not hard work. It's hard work when you just try to make money from a place where you have not invested, where you try to get people to spend money with you, where you have not established credibility, authority, or likability. It becomes a hard sell. But if your focus is adding value and you have systems in place to collect money, it would be easy. You want to be very, very careful that you don't be one of these kind of people. What kind of people am I talking about? These are the kind of people who they really consistently add value. You know what? They're on Facebook, they're sharing things, they're always blogging and going out there, they're giving so much, but they don't have systems in place to collect money. And people see, wow, look at the impact it's having. He's making a big difference. They have authority, they have credibility, they have likability, but they don't have a strategy for income. Why? Because they don't have a business approach to it. They're still running it as 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 a charity, which is charity simply means love. I'm doing this because I love it. That's fine. A business means I'm doing this for profit, which means you need to have a strategy for money to come back to you. It should be a part of the whole picture. So webinars. Why are webinars so powerful and how can you use webinars to really help you? Now, let's look at, I'll just share with you how webinars will enable you to do all three, which is how to build your community, nurture your community, and monetize your community. So let's look at today's webinar. For today's webinar, every single person registered. Why did we register? We registered because we were interested in the topic of the webinar. Okay, there we go. So when you are hosting webinars, they're usually targeted, and they're targeted at the people who are most likely to benefit from the solutions you provide. So, for example, if you are a weight loss coach, you could run a webinar which is 60-minute webinar where you're going to be teaching people how to burn fat without, again, I don't really know a lot about weight loss, maybe how to lose weight without having to go to the gym every day in 30 days, something like that. Now, would that attract my attention? It wouldn't. You know why? Because I'm not interested in losing weight. But if there's anybody who is interested in losing weight and they see your webinar, they will want to attend. They go and they register with their email address. They have just joined your community. So you're building your community. So every time you're hosting webinars and every time you promote your webinars, you're building your community, especially if your webinars are targeted. Now, imagine someone who today he's doing a webinar for weight loss. Tomorrow he's doing a webinar for career growth. To the other day he's doing a webinar for dealing with difficult children. The other time he's doing a webinar with how to manage after divorce. The other day he's doing a webinar on how to make sure you don't divorce. The other day he's doing a webinar on how to help your children do well in football. Now, what happens is this. He's building so many, he's extending all his energy, building in so many different communities, and he's not going to be able to harness the effort and create momentum for success. So that's why, again, I'm reiterating the fact that you promote webinars which are specific to the community that you're building. And every time you promote webinars and people register, you're building your community. It's growing. Your community is growing. Okay. Now, the second thing is adding value. What I say to people is this: your webinar is an opportunity for you to teach people something new. I say, even though the webinar is free, you treat the webinar like each person who is attending paid £100 to attend. You want to make sure that everybody who attends leaves with so much value that they receive from the webinar that they can go and apply, that will enable them to be able to make good money. Okay? Or rather to help them move close to their goals. So even though this webinar is free, for example, my commitment is I want to make sure people get at least £100 worth of value, right? Why? Because webinars are very powerful. People come to a webinar, they sit down, they listen to you, okay? And then you teach, you share knowledge, you share information, okay, during the webinar. And what you then begin to establish credibility, you establish authority, you also establish likability in one go. It's just so powerful. People will connect with you, especially because it's live. There is a connection with webinars because they're live that are more personal than just watching a video. It's amazing. The fact that we're here together, right? Your connection with me is more powerful than if you were watching the replay of this later, because you can't pause this. I'm here live, and so there's a bigger connection, and so that likability is actually stronger when you're attending a webinar. Now, and so that's why webinars are so very powerful to help you to build credibility, authority, and likability with your target audience. They're so powerful and they're convenient. I mean, I'm not dressed up, okay? That's why I'm not using my webcam. I'm not dressed up. I'm dressed down, but it doesn't really matter because you're still getting the same effect as if we were in a room. I would still, it's exactly what I'm sharing with you right now. It's the same thing I would have shared if we'd all had to travel into London to attend this event. And you can get so much value out of this, and I can make such a big difference. And you can do the same thing as well with your own webinars. Now, the third thing is monetizing, right? Because of the connection you create in webinars, you can convert. Now, how do you do these webinars? Is you can always sell things during a webinar. And let me share something with you now, something that I discovered when I started hosting webinars. When I host webinars, my conversion, if I have a product to sell, and I do sell things online during webinars, and I'm not going to go into too much detail. I don't want to overwhelm you tonight. So this is how I do it. I start in the beginning by establishing rapport with the attendees. So the first thing you do is you establish rapport with the attendees. Okay? Establish rapport with the attendees. How do you establish rapport? You establish rapport by helping them understand that you know where they are. So you want to speak from where they are. That's exactly what I did in the beginning when I started talking about speakers, coaches, authors, and trainers, and what motivates us, what inspires us, but what our current reality and our frustration is. I know your pain, I know your frustrations and your difficulties because I'm one of you. And by speaking to your dreams as well as your pains, I establish a rapport because you're saying to yourself, let me ask you a question. While I was saying that in the beginning, were you saying to yourself, you know what, I agree with what this guy's saying. This is so true. Um, I can connect with this, with what you're saying there about coaches, speakers, authors, and trainers, because you might actually have been speaking about me. If you were saying yes in the beginning when as I was doing that, please type yes, so we'll know. And so you do that. You connect with your audience by letting them understand that you know where they are, you know what their pain is, you also know their dreams. And then the crucial thing is you establish the fact that you know how to get them from where they are to where they want to be. At the beginning of the webinar, you want them to know that you have a solution. You've got to come across as confident during the webinars. Don't say things like, you know what, hopefully I'll share something that may be able to help you. No. What you say is this: by the time we are through this webinar, I will have handed over to you what will help you achieve this, and this. It's very essential in the beginning that you establish you will get the solution, during this webinar rather than we may or may not. Don't use weak language during your webinars. It would have an impact on the overall effectiveness of your webinars. So establish the fact that you know you can help them and you will help them during the webinar. Okay, so you do all that, you establish the rapport, and then you tell your story. People want to know you. Who are you? Where did you come from? What are you all about? So you introduce yourself. Again, we are speakers. We kind of know this sort of thing from speaking at live events, but I just need to remind us about a few things when we're doing webinars. A few other things would be tell people, tell people to actually go to a nice quiet place. Tell them to switch off their computer, switch off their television, switch off their phones, put their phones on silent, get away from the children, get away from the pets. Tell them to do that. You know why? Because if you don't, many people have they're watching the webinar on their iPad and their TV is on. You would be surprised by just saying that 50% of the people whose TV is on will switch it off. So you've literally got to tell people what to do. Okay, it's different from a live event because you can see everybody, but with a webinar you can't. So you've got to specifically tell people, go and get a pen and a notepad, take lots of notes so you don't miss out on some of the wonderful things I'm going to be sharing with you tonight. So you've got to be very, very instructive in telling people what to do, and then set the tone. Tell them, listen through to the end, okay? Because at the end of the webinar, I'm going to share something that's very significant that you don't want to miss out on. So tell them to listen through to the end as well. So, these are crucial things you want to do. Then at the middle of the webinar is where you teach. Don't hold back. A mistake a lot of people make is they say things like, you know what, don't share your best stuff for free or people won't pay. That's nonsense. If you are going to teach for 30 minutes, then give away the best stuff you can give for 30 minutes. Don't hold back, because if you hold back, people will know that you're not really sharing anything. And then when you then make the offer, people won't buy from you. It's just the way it is. If you want people to buy from you, then you need to establish credibility with the quality of what you share. So if you're going to teach for 30 minutes, share your best stuff for 30 minutes. And then what you then do is you then transition from the teaching to the offer. And this is one of my fun times. Before I used to struggle when I get to the offer because now I'm going to ask people for money. But actually, now I realize it's not just me asking people for money. Now I'm going to give them an opportunity to upgrade to a higher level of a relationship with me, with one of my products or one of my services. And then I say, so having conducted the training, you would then transition to the offer where you're going to ask for money. And this is where you would say, you would basically say, now, for those people who really want to make this happen and who really want to achieve this, I have a program that can help you. You then mention the name of the program. You then begin to explain the program, how it works. You explain its content. You go through the content of the program, and then you tell them, now this is what you tell them what the price is, and there's a few tactics you can employ. For example, let's say the program is a home study program that is usually £397, which is £400. What you can do is during the webinar, you do a webinar only 50% discount. So this program is £397. If you get it tonight during this webinar alone, you get a special discount. Instead of paying £397, you pay £197. So putting in things like that are very, very powerful. I'll share another tip with you. Now, I know I'm sharing quite a number of things. I hope I'm not overwhelming you. If I am, please let me know. Thanks. Okay, so now, what I'm doing is I'm training, but I'm also sharing tips as the tips come. Now, so a good tip. Most people get paid at the end of the month. Most people do. So the reality is if you're conducting a webinar maybe at the middle of the month, a lot of people are broke. They don't have money. So what can you do? This is what I learned to do that actually helped escalate my income is what I tend to do is, let's say it's the 15th of the month and I'm conducting a webinar, and I know that right now most people are broke because they got paid 2 weeks ago, and money's gone to all the bills they pay and maybe debt management and things like that. So what I do is I offer them a pay £1 now and then the rest of the money in 2 weeks. And so what happens is they think, whoa, I'm not going to miss out on this 50% discount, and all I need to pay right now is £1. Now, obviously, I'll set up a system that it will take out £1 now, and then automatically at the end of the month it will take out the rest of the money. Make sure you do that, okay? So that way you would get significantly more people buy because it's only £1 right now to access the program, and so you'll have more people take it up, and at the end of the month it just triggers the 197. It's so exciting. What then happens is you could have maybe 10 people who paid £1 at the time, which is only £10. But then the beautiful thing then is at the end of the month, you just start seeing your PayPal payment notice 197, 197, 197, 197, and you just make £1,970 in one night. It's just so exciting, in one day when that happens. But it's from the work that you did 2 weeks ago. So that's it. So you then make the offer, you put the offer on the table, and my conversions from webinars are the highest conversions I get. I tend to get 30% conversions, which anybody will tell you is ridiculously high. What that means is if there are 100 people at the webinar, about 30 of them will take me up on the offer. And that is just so powerful. Now, some of us who maybe aren't used to selling online, and we don't understand how huge that is. Usually, if you're getting a 3% conversion, which is 3% go to your website, of 100 people who go to your website, only 3 of them, if 3 buy, that's a very good website. If 3 out of 100 buy, that's a very good website. And what we're talking about here is if people attend your webinar, 30 out of 100 buy. And those were the sort of numbers that enabled me to be able to, to generate the sort of incomes, that enabled me to maintain. I'm not a millionaire yet. Okay, but at least to earn a full-time income. And that's the thing. Yes, I have had very, very successful nights. I've had nights where we had £7,000 come in. I've also had nights where we didn't even make £100 from a webinar. That's the way it is. But the crucial thing though is, as long as you're strategic, you lay it out properly. Your focus is adding value to people. You're building your community, you're adding value to people, but you have the systems in place to make money. You have the products or services that you've packaged, you have the system set up. You can then begin to run webinars. And the more webinars you run, the more money you make. We're running out of time, so I'll just quickly share. I mean, I have a lot to share, but I'm also conscious of time. I don't want to, I need to respect your time. I can't cover everything during this webinar anyways. Um, but I'll just share one more thing, and that's the three types of webinars that I run. Okay, and but I won't go into detail, but I'll just share enough with you. If you wanted to explore it further, you can. The first type of webinar that I run, this type of webinar is what I call my solo webinar. I run them by myself. So the first type of webinar is you set up the webinar and you send out emails to all of your contacts telling them to attend or invite their friends if it's not for them. And so the first thing you do is you host the webinar yourself. You send out an e-blast to all of your contacts, send out text messages to all your contacts, and maybe you only have maybe 40 people attend the webinar. So you have 40 people attend the webinar, and you then run the webinar. At the end of the webinar, you make an offer, a powerful offer during the webinar, and maybe you have 10 people take you up. If let's say the offer is for £100, right? You just made £1,000. Okay, they buy your product, whatever the product is. So it could be a home study course, it could be a DVD set, or it could be a live training event that they come to attend. So that's one thing you can do, right? The second type of webinar is the joint venture webinar, and that really is what really helped me to grow my business. And that simply is partnering with other people. So, for example, Lydia can partner with me, and she can say, "Hey, DJ, I've got this really great home study program um, for women who are in midlife that would really help them to be more productive where they are right now." And I'm thinking, okay, that's great. I have a few women who I know who are in midlife who are on my list. So I sent out an email to my list saying, "Hey, you know what? This very good friend of mine, Lydia, I'm going to be interviewing her on a webinar where we're going to be discussing, we're going to be discussing how a woman who is going through midlife can actually maximize the situation rather than go through a crisis. She's really brilliant at this, and I'm sure if you know any woman who fits into this group, please send it out to them because they're going to get so much value." So we then promote the webinar, and then maybe we have 100 people attend the webinar. Okay, so we have 100 people attend the webinar, and I interview Lydia. Lydia breaks everything down. She explains how everything works. She shares her methodologies, and then she makes an offer for a home study course for midlife women. And maybe the program is, again, let's say £100, and let's say out of the 100 people who were there, 20 of them buy. Okay, so 20 of them buy, so that's £2,000. And then we make a split. So we do it maybe a 50-50 split. She, because it's her training, me because it's my community. So she makes £1,000, I make £1,000. So and she could literally line up 2 JV webinars every week. All she needs to do is to keep on building relationships with other coaches, speakers, authors, and trainers, and she could be doing webinars every week. And every time she's doing a webinar, they are inviting people to register for her webinar. So she's building her list, right? So she's building her community because as people are registering, that's more people who are interested in the problems that she's solving. Okay, and then the third type of webinar, I call it the freedom webinar. Again, I know that this is a lot, and I hope it's not too much. Okay, now the third type of webinar is what I call the freedom webinar, and that is actually an automated type of webinar. And what that simply means is people it looks like it's live, but it's not live. When people go to register, you set it up. What you do is you can record a webinar. So for example, we could record this webinar, and I can take this content and I can put it online. And then I go and and there's software to do this. And if anybody wants me to share it with you, I can, is I would then go and create a webinar registration page where people will go to the page and book a date and a time that they want to attend the webinar. And then they would then receive follow-up emails just like this. But when they log in, they think it's live, but it's not live. Okay, it's actually a recording that's there. And the beautiful thing about this is I've had situations where people are replying to me, sending me emails saying, "Thank you very much for a wonderful webinar." I'm thinking, I'm out with my wife watching a movie, and people are attending a webinar and they're buying something. So while I'm watching the movie, my phone pings, I pick it up, there's a PayPal payment notification, and someone's just bought a product off of a webinar of mine, even though I wasn't there. So that's the third type of webinar, which is the automated webinar. I call it freedom webinar because once you've got that up and running and it's working well, you're now in a place of freedom because you're making money even though you're not there, which is where many of us would really want to be. So you can see basically how powerful webinars are. It makes a massive, massive, huge difference. I can't overemphasize the power of webinars, the difference that it makes, and how you can really use it to help you to take things to the next level. I think what I'll do now is I'll just, if you have questions, because I'm sure there will be questions, if you can just go to the chat box and just type in your questions there, any questions that you have, and I'll go ahead and make sure that I can answer them very, very quickly. And then I'll just share with us, because I know some of us might be thinking, okay, DJ, I like this, but I need to know a little bit more, and then we can discuss how we can do that. But if you do have questions, please just type in your questions in the chat box, whatever the question is, and I'll try to quickly answer them here. I'll take about two or three. Actually, you know what? Just type them. If you can type them quickly, I can answer everything because we're a small group, which is a good thing. So I'll just wait for your messages to come through, and then I'll go ahead and type in the message. I mean, just answer your questions. Okay. When is the right time to propose a webinar? Should one wait till all the tools in the kit are complete? Okay. I think the crucial thing is, first of all, you need to have a very clear sense of the who, what, and how. If you don't have that, don't go and do a webinar because you're doing it in isolation. But once you've done that, then a webinar is you need to have a strategy. So not just one webinar. You need to have a strategy for your solo webinars, for your joint venture webinars, as well as for your freedom webinars. Um, so should we build the bike as we ride? Good question. Should we build the bike as we ride? Um, Let me see. Some components of the bike need to be in place, but you don't need to have everything up and running. You do need to have a strategy first. What I say to people is before you start to implement, don't be like some of these houses that are built where they haven't done the plan of the house. They have the idea and then they just go and start building. You know how some of these structures that people have built back home um without actually. Oh, sorry, yeah, Dio, go ahead. Dio, go ahead. Please answer. I think Daya wants to answer the question. I'll just wait for him to come in. As soon as he comes in, I will keep quiet so Daya can answer the question. Um, but I would say yes, you need to have a foundation in place before you build, but you don't need to have all the lights green before you start going, but you do need to have a foundation. I think Daya wants to speak, so I'm just waiting for him to come through. If there's anybody else who's got any other questions, please feel free to type them in. Yes. Okay. Daya said yes. It is about having the foundation in place. Yes. So he says yes. It is about having that foundation in place. Awesome. Hey Joe, how you doing, Joe? Good to have you on. Sorry, I just noticed that you're in the room. Good to have you. Great guy. Okay. All right. Just before again, you know what? Just keep the questions coming as we move on, and if any more questions come in, I will answer them. What I'll quickly do here is I'll just quickly display an offer. Now, I've displayed an offer. If you want to have a one-to-one strategy session with me, and what we basically will do during the one-to-one session, and is we're going to be focused on helping you to map out your strategy, and also probably look at a webinar strategy for you as well. So I put a link here. If you can see it, if not, just go to Poppins and you will see a link where it says book a free one-to-one strategy session with DJ, and then I'm interested. Click on I'm interested, and that will take you to the page where you can book a session with me, and we get together on Skype or on the phone, and we'll just map out a strategy for you and look at how to use webinars to help you to set things up. Okay, so just go ahead and do that. Awesome stuff. Thanks everyone for being a part of this afternoon's program. Again, I am really, really excited about what we're doing here, and I want to challenge everybody who is here. Um, I'd like to challenge everybody who's here to spread the word about NTSC. NTSC is powerful, but it requires legs, and the legs are you and I. I would like to challenge you and I to spread the word about what we're doing. I'd like to challenge you and I to make sure that we can reach more people about what we're doing, the impact that we're having, so that it can begin to make a difference we can have a more significant impact. I love again, thanks Dio, and thanks everyone else who's a part of this, the initiative. Thanks everyone for choosing to be a part of this. Let's promote it, let's invest in it, and let's make it big, let's make it powerful, and ultimately, the more we add to this, the more we get out of this. Especially those of us who are foundational members. Foundations are tough because we are the ones. We're literally. It's almost like it's a jungle, and we are creating the path for others. We're creating the path for others, but eventually, as it begins to get more and more successful, those who came in the beginning and worked the hardest, who lay the foundation, we reap significant benefits. And I really hope we do that. Thanks a lot, everyone, for being a part of this. Again, thanks, Dio, for putting this whole thing together. And thanks to Treasure, who's not here, for making sure we could have this happen. I know she's in Nigeria at the moment. And thanks to Joe and everyone else who's in the executive team for doing an absolutely brilliant job. And have a wonderful, wonderful weekend, everyone. God bless you. And I look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. You will be informed. Some information will come out to you about the next meeting, and we'll take it from there. All right. Um, so, a motion for adjournment. Great stuff. We've come to the end, guys. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. If you haven't, just go ahead and book a session with me, and I really will look forward to working with you, and hopefully helping you to move things to the next level. Have a wonderful, wonderful one, everybody. God bless you, and bye for now.